Hello and welcome back to Asgard and welcome back to Project Ozone. So, I have been fairly busy since last episode. I guess we're going to start from back here, I think. Since last episode, I've done a bit of work back here. I did do a little bit of crop breeding. It was mainly Pam's Harvestcraft stuff, or only Pam's Harvestcraft stuff. I got a few more plants up to 10, 10, 10. I will say that this sprinkler and lily pads and all that up here definitely makes things a whole lot easier. It really, really does. And I started laying out the border wall here a little bit. I think, I'm not 100% sure, but I think we're going to have about enough space for all the crops. I may have to make some adjustments. I might even put some up here. I've got to see kind of, because we're kind of coming into the wrapping up point. We've only got like 5 more Pam's Harvestcraft crops, a few more magical crops. I will say that the wither seeds are going to be separate. We're going to have a larger scale farm for those because from what I can tell, they're going to be rather important. It's going to be kind of similar to how we have the capacitor seeds set up for those. So it's mainly just a few magical crops, a few Pam's Harvestcraft crops, and then the carrots. I haven't even started those yet. I keep meaning to, I just haven't. I don't know. I've got to see how many, how much more we have. Also, I went ahead and removed all the mana glass that was in here. I decided, I was kind of playing, what is this here? Oh, this probably fell from there. I was doing some thinking, and I think I like this a bit more. It just makes the walkways feel larger, even though, the side walkways are meant to be larger. The ones going through the center are meant to be smaller. It's more of like a greenhouse type thing. And then I also added these glass covers over the water. So you kind of still have the effect of the water, but you don't have the drop off. And I also started cleaning this up, adding a little bit of architecture to it and, some odd and ends like that. I also brought this out and brought the border wall out along this. I added a few more bedrock things down there. Over here, and you'll notice the FPS bottoms out a little bit. It's mainly these cobblestone frameworks that are affecting the FPS so badly, I've noticed. I may end up setting these in a separate dimension and just chunk loading them and maybe expanding on them. I don't know. We'll see. As we go forward, we shall see. Also, I went through with a concealment key and just hid all the items on these storage drawers. It actually gained me, in this section, it gave me about an extra 10 FPS or so. Because I was setting it like a pretty steady, 15. After adding these cobblestone frameworks, the concealment key did help a little bit with that. Personally, I like seeing all the items, but with the large scale that we're going with this pack, I do kind of want to be semi-careful about FPS. That's why these may end up going to a separate dimension. We'll see. We're actually generating octuple compressed at a fairly good rate now with all these cobblestone frameworks. I've got 16 here, and I actually just used those up not too long ago. I also added a few more fluids. If you look over here, it's kind of starting to come around this corner here. I also added that extra logistics line that kind of goes down. I've still got a hole in the floor here just because it's convenient right now. So there is another logistics line, and it is utilizing that, bringing the fluids in. So you can actually see fluids coming down on this side and going up on that side. It's really, I do like that effect. I'll show you that in a second. I also tried to add a few mods to boost FPS. Fastcraft is already implemented into this pack. I did add better FPS. It gave me a few FPS increase. And then I also tried adding Optifine, but in my personal experience, Optifine in 1.7 isn't nearly as good and useful as it is in 1.10. When I added Optifine, the pack would just crash over and over again. So, and I tried a few different versions of Optifine, but it just kept crashing. So I was like, okay, well, we're not going to use that. So anyways, I've been trying to work on FPS a little bit. Alright, so for the pneumatics room, I did go through and I really cleaned that up. I'm very, very happy with it, at least thus far. There may, and I don't know if there'll be a whole lot added to this room, but there will be more pneumatic stuff coming up. I have a really cool idea. for something coming up. But I did set up some pneumatic doors here. So if we come up close, they automatically open. Basically back in here, there's pneumatic door bases. The reason I had to use small blackstone here, these, let's see, I'm trying to think. The zest that's here, if I recall, it worked with the camo blocks, but it didn't work with the covers. The blocks from Z-tones, you can't do that with, you can't do forged micro blocks with those. So, and of course I needed covers here to cover the air pipes that come up. So that's the reason that's there. Also, like the chisel blocks wouldn't work with the camo. It was a mess. So I ended up using small blackstone. I tried like 15 different blocks, and either they wouldn't work with the covers, or they wouldn't work with the camo for the pneumatic stuff. So I was like, okay. I ended up going with this. I don't know. It's still temporary. We'll see. I could. No, I couldn't. I was gonna say I could have the air come in from the side, but I couldn't on this side. So I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, this is our room now. I use the light gray lamps from Project Red Illumination. And I did put down a travel anchor here. I'll explain why in just a second. The charging station, I threw a dispenser upgrade in it. I also had to craft the pneumatic wrench. Basically just so I could rotate the pneumatic door bases to have them face in the correct direction. But I put a dispenser upgrade in this. This is only for looks. Because personally, if you pull this out, you get that little dinky thing. I don't like that all that much. Because it looks like it should be sitting on like a table or something. But if you put the dispenser upgrade in there, I think that looks a little bit better. It kind of looks like a little side table, but it's also a charging station. Like a little corner table. I could always put like... I may end up putting like a planter or something on it. Like a little vase or something. I don't know. We'll see. I may end up putting something on that just to kind of bring out that corner a little bit. And then of course our plastic setup is still here. I didn't actually end up shifting it because I'm actually happy with where it is, honestly. Over here, our pneumatic system, our input and output is now on that side. And I just put some slightly larger chests from Extra Utilities. These are easily crafted. It's just a chest with sticks around it. And basically what it does is it gives you a chest that takes up a full block space. Whereas the normal chests, you know, they have that like border. And also they can't be placed side by side. There wasn't a whole lot of good options when I was playing around in my test world. I couldn't find a lot of good options for full block space storage containers that I could access to use as an input and output. But these don't make that annoying opening and closing sound, and they're okay. I don't like the color, but I just have to go with it. And basically I just put signs here to remind myself, okay, the left one is input, the right one is output. So input will input stuff into the machine or into the pressure chamber, and then of course whenever it's done it'll come out to the output. And what I've done here is I have a travel anchor here so that we can access an Ender IO block. So if we hit shift, it pulls this up. I have to readjust this every time I relog. So, but basically if I just bring this over to like right in here, I can right click, no, I gotta bring it closer, don't I? It's really, really weird because the camera has to be like pretty much like right on top of the block. But if I right click there, you can say that's the input, and pretty much anything can be input into it. If you click on the one on the bottom here, this is where I can do the filter. So if right now I have it set to advanced for advanced circuit boards or advanced PCBs, but and I did put 10 speed upgrades in this. Basically those speed upgrades just increase the speed that it opens and closes. Over here, this is our assembly platform. I did end up adjusting it just a little bit so we had the two platforms in the center and the laser and the drills on the far sides. And basically I decided to make a glass section so you could see out, and of course on the outside you can see in and see these things running, because I do really love seeing these things run. And then I just use a reactor glass for the glass because I actually like the way it looks, and it's not really that expensive. Yellorium and graphite and stuff. It's not an expensive block at all. So yeah, that's what I did. That's what I ended up doing with the pneumatics room. I hope you guys like it. Up here, we have another room that I have built out. Of course, it doesn't have any machines in it yet, but it's built out. If we step in here, this will be our mechanism room. And by the way, all this corp up here is lighted. So if we hit F7, you can see that all this is lit. I did actually work a bit on lighting throughout the base, primarily in this room, the pneumatics room. Back here, all the torches are gone, well, except for that section. But that section will be gone. That's all going to be cleaned up once we're done crop breeding. You know, that's just my workstation right now. So, but I did do a little bit with lighting. This will be our mechanism room, which we'll start working on today. I am pretty happy with the way it turned out. And, of course, this will not be all of our mechanism stuff. Whenever it comes to, like, ore quintupling and stuff like that, we're going to need a larger space. You know, a lot of those big projects with mechanism, the reactor, ore quintupling, power storage, things like that with the big multi-blocks, they're not going to go in here. But, you know, for just our general purpose machines, they are going to go here. Anyways, with that, that's pretty much the main things I've been working on. I've also done some little minor things, and like I said, I did do a bit trying to fix the FPS as well. I'm trying to get the back of it all cleaned up, because we're kind of wrapping up in the back section, honestly, like a few more episodes, and hopefully we'll have all the crops done, minus the wither crops. So I kind of want to get that section kind of cleaned up, finalized. I need to go through and put the carpenter's fences around it, and, you know, really get that section done. So I have noticed that after adding better FPS, my world gen stuff actually, or my world actually loads slower. So I may end up removing it. I don't know. But within here, I mean, it's fine. I get a little bit better FPS, but we'll see. We shall see. So anyways, today I added a few things to the clipboard here. I did add the ore quintupling system on there, the windmill array. I want to do that. Finish crops, build the mechanism room, which I've already done that. I did go ahead and make a few transistors, capacitors, reinforced machine frames. I think I made 2 stacks of transistors and capacitors each, and like 30-ish reinforced machine frames, because we will be needing that stuff, and I didn't, especially the reinforced machine frames, those take a little bit to craft, so I was like, I'll go ahead and just get a bit of those. Let's see, yeah, 30 of them, so. But let's go ahead, let's take a look at the quest book to get started. I don't have any quests done today. I spent so long decorating, I haven't actually went through and messed with any of the quests, really. But the first quest for Mechanism, they want us to make a steel casing, and this is something I do want to go ahead and automate with our pressure chambers. This requires steel, black plastic, and reinforced machine frames. So this, we're just going to set this one up in this one, right? Because this makes compressed iron. This doesn't actually involve any compressed iron. So we'll throw in our crafting module. We'll say that if you take, what satellite is this? I can't recall. Satellite number 9. Okay. Alright, so we're going to say if you take a reinforced machine frame, a piece of black plastic, and 4 steel, that's going to get you a steel casing. So let's go manually craft this real quick. And yeah, it's called steel casing. Alright. By the way, I did put 2 speed upgrades in this. I may end up adding more, because they still feel a little bit slow. But we'll see. So we're going to actually get to use our Ender IO here. We're going to say item name begins with steel case. And we're going to throw all these things into the input chest. You can see that stuff gets dropped in there. It quickly gets output, and there we go. Steel casing. So it does use a little bit of pressure, you know, opening and closing those interfaces. But that's okay. I mean, it's not like we have a whole lot of stuff draining air pressure because, you know, things that would normally drain air pressure, like plastic generation, stuff like that, I mean, that's all, I mean, none of that's using air pressure. Really, the only thing we're using air pressure for is the assembly table, or the assembly platform, the pneumatic stores, and the one manual crafting crafter. I guess is really it right now. So, alright, so there's how you get a steel casing, and let's go ahead and put this into the filter. I'm still very, very happy with this setup because there's so much stuff I've noticed that uses Pneumaticraft in this pack. And having this whole setup in place is just so convenient. Alright, so there's our first quest done very, very quickly. Very, very easily. And that is a greater reward bag. We got Zavicio boots with a speed increase in fusion on them. Wow. I love how we're getting like full sets of Zavicio armor just from loot bags now. Alright, so the next quest we can either go down into the power generation and transfer, or we can go into the metallurgic stuff. Now, the wind generators, yeah, we're going to have to go into metallurgic anyway. I'm going to go ahead and start with the metallurgic infusers, and then we'll probably go down here, because I do want to get into windmills today. Wind generators actually produce a fair amount of power. Great flux batteries. Woohoo. And in normal packs, I would consider them a little bit OP, because you can literally get them like right out the gate, like wind generators. Build a bunch of them, you have like tons of power. But in this pack, I don't mind them, because this pack, you know, we've been playing, we're over 1,000 days. Some of them were AFK, but we're over 1,000 days into the pack. I don't mind OP power gen at this point, you know. So, anyways, the metallurgic infuser, we are going to have to get that first. It requires steel casing, steel transistor. Yeah, it's really not expensive at all. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, honestly, and make, I think, 2 of them to start with. Do I want 2? Okay, actually, I think I'm going to make 4 of them. Because in my past experiences with Mekanism, you end up using them so much. So, why not? Alright, and then we're going to go ahead and say metallurgic infuser. Let's get... Oh, we're waiting on the gray plastic to come in. Alright, of course these things do not stack. Mekanism is notoriously evil for doing that. I think our metallurgic infusers, since they are going to be a machine that we're going to literally use all the time, I'm going to put them right here. So let me just remove this stuff. Right down here is that connection. So I think, and I will say this room, part of it's going to be manual use, part of it's going to be, a little bit of it's probably going to be some automatic, plugged into the system type stuff, but we'll see as we move forward. Let me get some conduits. Let's see, the Ender energy conduits in this pack are buffed so much. 180,000 RF per tick. Okay, and the ultimate universal cable in this pack from Mekanism can transfer 320,000 RF per tick. What, 140,000 more? Honestly, I think the Ender conduits should be okay. I will have to go through the base soon and adjust some power setups, because right now the majority of my stuff is plugged into like the same cable line. Okay, that's going to become a little bit strenuous in the very near future, I feel like. So we will probably go through and kind of adjust some things and break some things off and whatnot. But for right now, I think using the Ender energy conduit should be fine. Like just plugging into the line that we have. And we'll start getting this plugged up. I know there is a cable line that runs right up through here. And I'm just going to plug into that one and then bring it over, or not plug into, but you know, basically use that cable bundle to bring this up. There's so much cableage going on back here. It's like conduits and transport pipes and pressure tubes and redstone lines and just everything. Pretty much the entire Pneumatics building or area is like plugged into this like little closet. So, alright. I mean, look at the underbelly of the base right now. Just like cables. Like all around this Pneumatics area. Like cables all over the place. Alright, so the Ender conduits will come up. Just go right there, and then we'll plug up our metallurgic infusers. Just like that. And apparently these can store 1.8 million RF. So, that's a thing. And uses 4.5 thousand RF per tick. Wow. That's a lot, actually. Oh, you know what I just realized? They wanted me to make 3 of them. Alright, I'm just going to order the stuff for the metallurgic infusers. And I'll just manually make 3 of them. It doesn't really bother me because I know that moving forward we're actually going to need these. So I don't, honestly, it doesn't bother me one bit. Metallurgic infusers are something that's really handy to have. And honestly, when I go to automate these, I'm going to want a few of them. So, you know, the ones I have right now are just manual use type things, but I will want some for automation. So we'll go ahead and take this reward bag here. It's a good bag. It's weird it went from greater to good. And we got a fortune cookie, crap reward. And it says, what's the difference between falling sand and a falling cat? One will take damage, the other one gives it. Okay. Alright, so next up, they want us to make the enrichment chamber or enriched upgrades. That's what I want to go for, right here. Okay, this takes capacitors and redstone. Alright, so what I'm going to do... Actually, you know what? Instead of going for the enriched upgrade, I do want to go for the enrichment chamber first, I think. Even though it really doesn't matter. Oh, you can actually turn Certus Quartz dust back into Certus Quartz. I don't know if that's just for this pack. I never used it for that. If it wasn't. Okay, for this, ooh. We are going to need steel casing, steel ingots, printed circuit boards, and advanced circuits, which require the item fabricator. Let's take a look at the item fabricator then from Quantum Flux. Okay. Iron casing, electrosilicon, electrocene silicon compound, silicon. Okay. Oh man, they want us to get into like all kinds of things here. Extra planets. Really? We have to get Mercury? So to get the item fabricator, we are going to have to get Mercury, which comes from extra planets. So we're going to have to get into galacticraft, I'm assuming, and a good ways into galacticraft before we can get into quantum flux. Thus, a good while before we can get into the enrichment chamber. Okay, well then I'm just going to take like a stack of blocks of redstone, and I'll go ahead and grab like a stack of capacitors. Okay, so there's that. And we are going to go for enriched alloys. Or, yeah, enriched alloys. Now, a stack of them, it's a little bit over the top, I guess. But the thing is, we're actually going to need it, so I don't mind it. Sorry, that's my dog. He's dreaming. So we're just going to throw our blocks of redstone. Now, I will say that if we had the enrichment chamber, we could make the compressed redstone. And yeah, it says right here, more efficient for metallurgic infuser. That's what I was originally planning on doing, but we're not going to be able to do that just yet. So anyways, we'll get those running. It's very, very slow starting with Mekanism because you do need a lot of those enriched alloys. It could be a little bit different in this pack since it seems like a lot of things are changed, but even still, we will still need a bunch of those, I'm sure. And then they want us to make the reinforced alloy. That's diamonds, diamond dust, probably compressed diamond. Okay, but we are going to have to get diamond dust. Oh, we actually unlocked Demon Steel Tier 1 already. Like the quest to do it. This takes diamond dust and Temperio Essence. Really not that expensive and not going to be all that difficult to craft up a bunch of that. So diamond dust. Let me check. I'm figuring that we're going to go... There's also the Magneticraft method. Alright, so I think we're going to go ahead and just make a crusher from Mekanism. Most of this stuff is pretty straightforward. The energy tablets, there's a little bit more to them. They require these great flux batteries, which are basically tier crafts. I think I'm going to go ahead and teach it how to make these, because it would be something handy to have, because it seems like we're going to probably need a bit of this moving forward. So I'd like to go ahead and just get all the tiers of these. Okay, I actually broke my wireless charger for just a minute because crafting these batteries, they get charged with the wireless charger. And that's not something that I really want to happen, because it'll mess up the, you know, the settings and all that stuff. It'll register a different thing, whatever. I can't think of what it's called off the top of my head for some reason. Metadata. So that's what I was trying to think of. Alright, so now we're going to get the tier 2. And I know that these energy tablets, we're going to end up needing them anyway. So I don't mind automating these, because it's actually going to be super beneficial to us in the future. Okay, and here is our final battery. And that'll be done. I think there's actually some other recipes that actually involve these, so it will be useful to have these great flux batteries. Or it may just be the energy tablets, but even still, those energy tablets, we're going to need those for a lot of mechanism stuff, so. Yeah, we actually use it for galacticraft as well, the electric compressor, which we'll be getting into that, I think, fairly soon, honestly, the galacticraft stuff. Okay, so now that we've got that, for the crusher, the energy tablets, take capacitors. Let's see if my alloy's done, because it should be. Yep, 64 of those. And that completes the enriched upgrade quest. We'll go ahead and turn that in really quick. Oh no, there's a crafting task. Energy tablet. It just so happens I'm working on that. Item speed upgrade and energy upgrade. Awesome. Alright. I was wondering if those upgrades, I hadn't looked yet, but I was wondering if those were going to be craftable, you know, in the near future or not. I think osmium goes up there, capacitor, great flux battery, and enriched alloy. Yep. Cool. Okay, we'll go ahead and apply that, and we'll make one more recipe, fill out this. Say 2 enriched alloy, capacitor. I'm going to handcraft this first one so it counts for the quest. So there's the energy tablet. Okay. Energy tablet, of course, is just like a portable energy storage kind of thing. Not something that we're really going to be using right now. And I should be able to plug up my wireless charger now, I think. Now that I'm not handling all those batteries anymore. So, I'm writing on the energy tablet right now. Not sure. It may be crafting, I don't know, glowstonic steel, maybe? Okay, it did come to my attention a second ago that I'm going to have to adjust this entire crafter. I wasn't thinking. I put all these recipes into here, and basically it just dumps them into this, or dumps them in here, and it doesn't pull them back out, you know, because it's waiting for the finalized thing. So, whoops. That's okay. Just be a little bit of adjusting. Not a major issue. So anyway, there's our crusher. I'll probably make another one later, but right now one's perfectly fine. Okay, the crusher, I'm gonna have like a bunch of like miscellaneous machines along this edge, I think. What I'm going to remove that, put it there instead. Okay. And we'll put our crusher right here. This is going to be a noisy room, unless I do muffler upgrades and everything, which I might. Just for you guys' sake. Normally I don't do muffler upgrades, honestly. So now that the crusher is done, I just want to get like a stack of diamonds and get that crusher going. We could also use a pulverizer, but when in Mechanism, do as the mechanisms do. I guess would be how you put it. Okay, so while that diamond dust is running, item speed upgrades. These require enriched alloy, osmium dust, yellow stained glass. And then the energy upgrades require gold dust. Alright, so let's get ourselves a bit of gold and a bit of osmium. Now I can do this with pretty much anything. Yeah, let's automate them. They're fairly easy to automate because we have a sag mill system right here. So, let's see. We want... This is, what, satellite number 6? Okay, so we're going to say that if you take gold... Oops. If you take gold in satellite 6, and if you take osmium on satellite 6, and we'll throw these in there real quick. There we go. And we'll say that's going to get you osmium dust and gold dust. Alright. And then let's get ourselves just a little bit of glass here. And we'll just make a couple quick recipes for the upgrades. Because we're going to need these. We might as well have them within the system and teach them how to make this stuff. So we'll say if you take osmium, I think it's 2 pieces of glass, 2 pieces of enriched alloy. And then we'll go ahead and make another one while we're at it. And we're going to say that if you take pulverized gold, 2 pieces of enriched alloy, and 2 pieces of glass. And we'll set up the recipes here real quick. I will have to manually make these, but, you know, I just want the recipes in place because I'm going to want a lot of these moving forward because I do want to do a lot with Mekanism. So, might as well have it automated. So, there's energy upgrade, and there is speed upgrade. Okay. And then let's put this stuff in. There's our speed upgrade. There's our energy upgrade. And that completes the quest. Let me go ahead and finish this out. And now we can take our reward bag. We'll take this one. What did we get? A basic reward bag. Wow. Heavy aluminum wire and aluminum wire. Okay. Alright, so next up they want us to make... Where was that? Oh, it's right there. Elite alloy. This takes the diamond dust. Okay. Not a problem. We have that stuff ready to go. I am going to go ahead and grab, say, like 30 more capacitors. And I want to go ahead and order, let's go ahead and order like 15 energy upgrades. Okay, because those are going to cut down the energy cost by quite a bit. And I'm going to go ahead and grab these capacitors. We're going to make more. We're going to need so many enriched alloy. It's going to be ridiculous. Considering each of these capacitors require octadic capacitors to craft. It's insane. Okay, so this one has the redstone in it. I'm going to throw those capacitors in there. Then this one we'll throw in our diamond dust. And we're going to throw in, we'll do, say, 14 of these enriched alloys. So those will start running. And I do apologize about the noise. I'm going, oops, that's the wrong thing. I'm going to turn the volume down for a minute. Alright, so there's our reinforced alloy. That completes that quest. We'll go ahead and take that reward bag. So many easy quests through here. We got a chunk loader from Chicken Chunks and then 10 spot loaders. Huh. That's actually not a bad reward. Not really expensive stuff, but still. Ultimate alloy reinforced with refined obsidian, which should be, yeah, obsidian powder or pulverized obsidian with diamond dust. Okay. So let's make just a little bit of that, and we'll go ahead and knock that quest out real quick. Tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and order, like, oops, 2 more stacks of capacitors. Make me 128 capacitors. Let me get... Let me sag mill up this obsidian. That'll get us 4 pulverized obsidian. I need to make a recipe for that. I'll do that in just a second. And then we're going to run that through with the... I'm going to pull that out. We're going to run that through with the diamond dust just to get our refined obsidian. There we go. There's a piece of that. We'll throw that into here. That gives us 10 obsidian. Run that reinforced alloy through there. And these energy upgrades, I'm going to go ahead and spread them out across our, I guess across our metallurgic infusers. I'll tell you what, 3 metallurgic infusers and then this crusher. And basically it's just going to reduce the energy cost. So if we take a look here, oh, where does it say? There it is. Now we're down to using 1.42 thousand RF per tick. Whereas if you look right here, it was 4.5 thousand. So, I mean, that's not bad. I mean, energy is not that big of a concern at the moment. But, I mean, we're just saving some energy there. So, it doesn't hurt anyway. And that one random item speed upgrade, I'm just going to throw it into here. You will notice it bumps up the power usage when you throw speed in there. but it does speed things up a bit. So, okay, there is our first atomic alloy. And that completes that quest. We'll go ahead and take this reward bag. It is a greater reward bag. We got a zombie generator. Not bad. I'm actually planning on doing something with those in the very near future anyway, so that just makes our lives a little bit easier. And let's go ahead and grab our 3 metallurgic infusers, and I want to go ahead and automate making those alloys and stuff. Now, like I said, those 4 that are in there, those are going to be personal use. I mean, technically I could automate those, but I'd rather have like a section that's just for our personal needs. I think I'm going to put like automation on this wall. Okay, so these will be like automated machines, right? For Mekanism. And so what I want to do is we're going to go ahead and just remove that wall. And we're going to put these metallurgic infusers. Eventually I'm going to have 4 metallurgic infusers. It'll be 4 for manual use, 4 for automation. Maybe. I don't know. Do I need, let's see, compressed carbon? Because originally what I was thinking was we'd have one that uses like redstone, one that uses diamond, one that uses obsidian, one that uses carbon. But honestly, we're not going to need to make steel. So that's just for making holoroms. And ideally, I would only need like 1 holorom ever. So, unless holoroms are used for something, which they're not. Okay. So we may actually get through with just 3 metallurgic infusers. Honestly. I'm going to go ahead and steal this crusher. I don't think there's anything... Okay, no. We can just do 3 metallurgic infusers. That's perfectly fine. It's not really an issue. So I'm going to steal this crusher, and we're going to automate this. I'll get another crusher for later on for manual use, but I'd rather have this one for automation. So we'll have it just like that. Okay. And then we're going to have our inner energy conduits. I'm going to run these along the bottom and the top. And I'll come through and I'll facade this later. And then we'll have this connect down. Okay, our 63 capacitors just finished. Or 63 of our 2 stacks are finished. Okay, so these now have power. Wonderful. And then what I want to do is we're going to have to plug up our logistics network to them. Let me get some unrouted logistics pipes. Let me get some basic pipes. 4 chassis Mark 5s. And we'll go ahead and get some... We'll get 3 active supplier modules. And that should be everything that I'm going to need. So... Let's see. I'm going to have to bring our logistics network up to here. Which shouldn't be too much of an issue. Because I just need to bring it to this back side here. Which I should be able to... Yeah, I can bring it right through there. Let's see, this is a pain though, getting through to here. So we'll just have the unrouteds come through. And then all that's going to be chassis pipes. That should be connected over there. There's our chassis Mark 5. I wonder what it's crafting right now. I imagine the lasers are making something. Yeah, they're making something. What are they doing? Okay. Emerald chipsets. Okay, well, while we're waiting for those, we can go ahead and set up at least one of these for right now. We'll start with the... I guess the redstone metallurgic infuser. I think will be the first one. So for right now, I'm gonna... Let's see. Oh, I don't have any supplier modules. That makes an issue. Okay, I tell you what. I'll be back in just a moment because, of course, whenever these lasers are running, they're going to kind of round robin what they create. So, I don't know which one. It's making an emerald chipset right now. But I'll give this just a few minutes, and I'll be back in just a moment, because I don't want to stop what it's doing right now. So, okay, our logistics chassis Mark 5s and our active suppliers are done. So, let's go ahead. We'll just plug these up right on the back of this. And, let's see, metallurgic infuser. This one, we're going to say this one's going to be redstone. And I will say that later on... I'll change this up a bit. We're going to use compressed redstone instead of blocks of redstone. But for right now, we're just going to use blocks until we can get the enrichment chamber. And we're going to put an active supplier in this one. And we're going to say that you, let's say, partial. And you're going to keep, I don't know, 32 stacks of blocks of redstone in there. And we'll go ahead and throw one in there. And here shortly, we should see a, there we go, a bunch just came in. Oh, and you know what I have to do? I need to set the side config. And we're going to say that, say this is the back side. And we're going to say that you can input on the back side. Or I'm sorry, it needs to be purple infuse. Oh, I didn't think about that. It's going to, oh man. Okay, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to order 3 chassis Mark 4s. Yeah, we're going to put these right here on the sides. And then we're going to do one on this other side. I know there's energy ran right there, but that's okay. I can run it around. We'll just remove that. We'll say Logistic Mark 4. And then we'll just plug up unrouted pipes there. We're going to set this, let's see, if you're looking at it from the front, that would be the left side. Yeah. So we're going to say the left side is infused, the back is input. Okay. And we'll go ahead and now set this with the active supplier that we set up with the 32 blocks of redstone. It actually went ahead and just gave a stack. Probably because it kept pumping it into the system and was like, okay, here's a stack of this. Now this one, let's go ahead and, actually no, it's diamond dust that we're going to want. So we're going to say another supplier in this one. This one I want to keep 32 diamond dust in this. And we'll say that the side config, left side is infuse, back side is input. And then this metallurgic infuser, I'm sorry, right side is infuse, back side is input. Okay. And I'm hoping these chassis pipes will pull out on their own. If not, I mean, there's ways that you can easily set this up with using item conduits. So if worse comes to worse, we can do that. But I'd like to not have to do that, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. And we'll put an active supplier in this. We're going to say keep a half stack of refined obsidian dust in this. Okay, now of course refined obsidian dust and diamond dust isn't automatically being created, but that's okay. We'll get that in just a second. And this crusher, we're going to say the back side is going to be input. We'll go ahead and cancel those out. Alright, and so now, if we were to set up a recipe on the back side of this, we're going to say that if you send it 1 capacitor, then you are going to get 1 enriched alloy. Alright. And so now if I was to order, let's order 10 enriched alloys. Let's see what happens. It should pump them into here, those capacitors, and there they go. It actually pumped a few extras. Not for sure why. Or no, I ordered 10, didn't I? Maybe. I don't know. I have no clue. I have no actual clue. And there was 2 in the system, so that was probably all the capacitors that it had in the system at the moment. Okay, so it's making enriched alloy. It's pulling out just fine. Alright. Wonderful news. And then I'm going to go ahead and set up another recipe. Let me order some diamond. And we're going to say that if you take 1 diamond, you're going to get 1 diamond dust. And chances are we're probably going to see this get some diamonds here in just a second. There we go. Okay, just sent 32 diamonds. It's making diamond dust to go into this, is what it's doing. Awesome. It just wasn't connected on the back. It was doing that bug. Alright. And so now the crusher's running. This metallurgic infuser is about to have stuff. So it'll start running. We'll go ahead and make a recipe here. We're going to say that if you take 1 enriched alloy, then you're going to get a reinforced alloy. And then we just have to do the reinforced obsidian. That's not too much of an issue. I'm going to set up a quick recipe over here using just the sag mill. It works just as well for making the obsidian dust. The sag mills cannot make diamond dust, however. Like I said, you can do it with a pulverizer, but I'd rather do it with Mekanism, honestly. So we'll set up a quick recipe here. We'll say that if you take 1 obsidian and you send it through, and I'm actually going to use a sag mill down here because those sag mills pump into a chest, and that chest is hard to access without breaking blocks. Okay, I've managed to grab it out of there. And that's going to get you 4 of this pulverized obsidian. And then we'll set up a quick recipe over here to actually make the refined obsidian that we're going to need. And we'll say that if you pump in 1 pulverized obsidian, then you're going to get 1 diamond dust. I mean, not 1 diamond dust. 1 refined obsidian dust. Okay? And chances are we're probably going to see some obsidian come into this here shortly. Is it not pumping the... It's quite bizarre. Oh, it's not actually pulling this out. Why? That works fine for the other ones. Oh, we do have one slight issue, though. We're starting to run out of power in that. I do need to get this power plugged up. So, what we'll do is we'll just have the power run... We'll have this run back through to here, and then it can come down and connect right there. That'll be fine. Okay, I may actually need to do a satellite pipe, I guess. So we'll order a satellite pipe for the crusher. And we'll just set all this up in satellite form then. So we'll say there's a satellite pipe right here. We're going to say that the, let's see, the right side is going to be input, the back side is going to be output. And then we'll just say that this is satellite number 13. And we'll just quickly change all this over. We'll say satellite 13. And there we go. That's done. So now that should be fed diamonds. Actually, it'll probably go up here in just a second. There we go. Okay, so it is working. Wonderful. Alright. That's really no worse than having to do the infusion side. At least those machine infusers will it'll automatically pull out of those. Wonderful. And so basically it's going to run for a bit. It's going to fill all those things up. I am going to go ahead and order some speed upgrades. Let's order 32. And I also want 32 energy upgrades. Okay. So now this thing should start getting some items here in just a moment. Because it's going to say, hey, we need enriched alloy bad. Oh, it may actually not have any capacitors now that I think about it. Because it was waiting on quartz chipsets before. Like, pretty badly. You know, it's funny because a lot of those recipes are having issues because the stuff's getting stuck in the output. But the octadic capacitors work fine. Like here in just a bit, you'll see... Well, it's crafting a bunch of different stuff, but it'll get those pieces in, it'll craft the double layer, and then it'll craft the octadic just fine. So I'll have to do a little bit of playing around to sort those out. Look at all the items just flying around. But anyways, while that stuff's running, let's go ahead. I mean, all this stuff is working. You know, it's getting all these different infusion materials. You can see obsidian's building up in here, redstone is building up in here, diamonds are building up in here, and it's constantly crushing. So the next thing that I want to do is I want to make our very first piece of demon steel. This is, from what I can tell, this is a major turning point in the pack. You know, demon steel is kind of like, I guess Terra steel was before, you know. It kind of opens up a lot of doorways for us. Now, the first magnitude doesn't actually do anything. It's just used to make second magnitude. Second magnitude is used to make third. And then we can make big reactors, reactor controller. Fourth magnitude, you can then make the cyanide reprocessor. Fifth magnitude, there you go. Extreme crafting. Sixth magnitude, turbine controller. Seventh magnitude, magnet card. Eighth magnitude is for the Philosopher's Stone, which of course is a major thing. Let's see, for the actual Philosopher's Stone, we need the molecular assembler, dark steel balls, thorium rods, vibrantium, advanced PCBs, enhanced gravitite, thorium. I mean, that's not out of reach, honestly. It's expensive. I mean, we're getting very, very close to getting into that. Ninth magnitude, 10th magnitude, then we start getting into the Project E stuff. 11th magnitude is for making that ring. So anyways, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that ties into it. So I want to get our first piece of demon steel, and it's really not that expensive, you know, for the first magnitude one. I'm just requiring diamond dust and Temperio essence. And if we take a look at Temperio, we have 178 of it. It does take a little while to build this stuff up, but 178 is not too bad. And that means we're maxed out on all the other essences. So now it's just crafting Temperio. So it took a little while to build up to that point. But, and honestly, I could speed it up, make it a little bit faster if I wanted to, like essence generation. So diamonds, we're going to go ahead and just throw in a quick recipe here. I'm going to say that if you take Temperio essence, and I'm going to pull this out for just a moment. There we go. Demon steel of the first magnitude. And we'll go ahead and just throw that into there. There's how you make your first tier demon steel. And we get a reward bag for that. Let's go ahead and grab it. And let's see what we got. We have a greater reward bag with the tape measure. Okay. Alright, cool. Awesome. I needed a tape measure. I've only got like 7 or 8 of them. Also, a lot of these speed and energy upgrades are done, so I'm going to go ahead and pull those out. And we're going to throw in, like this diamond one especially. Let's go ahead and throw in 8 energy upgrades. And then the crusher, I guess, as well. I think there's like 1 energy upgrade in that right now. I think. So, 8 energy upgrades. You can see that our energy cost is only 450 RF per tick, so it's way cheaper now. If we were to throw in, say, 4 speed upgrades, we got to be a little bit careful right now because these can require a lot of power if you're not careful, even with the energy upgrades in there. So with 4, we're running at 4.5 thousand RF per tick. So back to where we were pretty much. If I throw, say, 2 more speed upgrades into this, we're up to 14.23 thousand RF per tick. Okay. I might leave that alone for right now. Over here, I'm going to do the same. I think this is maxed out. So we're going to throw, say, 6 speed upgrades into that one. And then this redstone one, I'll throw 3 energy and 2 speed into that. I'll finish them out later on. Speed, we'll eventually finish those out as well, but not right this second because it would be a little bit too much power, I feel like. So anyways, this stuff's running a bit faster. We should see this stuff. Let me actually get some muffler upgrades too, just for, mainly for you guys' benefits. I don't mind the noise, honestly, but I know chances are you guys probably do. So we can get these muffling upgrades. They just require... I don't have enriched alloy. Okay. Scratch that for right now. But, because everything's so backed up right now, it's ridiculous. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and order 10 Temperio Essence. Wonder... Okay, that's actually done with Obsidian now. There's still some refined. I threw that in there, though. That's my own fault there. Alright, so... I guess I could have actually requested it, but I didn't. But I'm going to make a bit of this Demon Steel the first magnitude, just so we can knock out a few quests. These actually require... These require more... Can't really see how much diamond dust they require, but it did eat through all that diamond dust very, very quickly. Let's see, 60, 70, 80, is it 100 maybe per? Yes, it's 100 diamond dust per craft. Okay. And we'll go ahead just really, really quickly and make ourselves 3 pieces of second magnitude. So that'll be that quest completed. And then we're going to make our very first piece of third magnitude Demon Steel, which actually makes the reactor controller for big reactors, which could be very, very exciting. Let's go ahead and grab our reward bags here. 2 greater bags. Come on, tape measures. We got a Zavisio chestplate with fire protection infusion and some seed storage and stuff. Fun times. Yeah, if I just had an extra Zavisio headpiece, we'd have a full set of like infused stuff, plus an extra chest piece. Alright, now it said that that unlocked a new quest elsewhere, and it looks like it did. It unlocked Ada, which is Applied Energistics 2. So that's a thing. I don't know. I'm torn. And I want you guys' opinion in just a second. We also, looks like we unlocked Iota. Good, that's galacticraft. Or no, that's big reactors. I wonder what starts galacticraft. Oh, you know what? I think it's this quest right here. Because it says that this unlocks one quest elsewhere. And I know that the stuff that starts galacticraft requires this. Let me whip up these crystals real quick, because they're not that bad. I'm going to need a villager soul, an enderman soul, the weather crystal. I've got all this stuff. Okay, yeah, give me just a second. I'm going to whip this up. I know the episode's running pretty close to wrapping up point, so let me get these souls together. Okay, I'm not for sure, actually, what unlocks it, because I completed this quest. We'll go ahead and take this reward bag here. It's a greater... We got a... Cool. Alright, I think next episode we're going to continue on. I'm going to try to knock out these cables between this episode and next. Because it's really just... It's a lot of just tier crafting, steel and redstone, and then you do it with enriched alloy and the diamond alloy and the obsidian alloy and all that stuff. These are all filled out now. You'll notice they all stopped running. They are sitting rather happily. This one actually doesn't have... I think it's because I was messing with it. I messed up its count. So we'll go ahead and put 32 in there just so it's situated. It's situated. So next episode we're going to continue on with a little bit of Mekanism, because we'll probably start with wind generators at the start of next episode. I know this episode was more just mainframe Mekanism stuff, like getting started with the mod, getting into the mod and stuff like that. And a little bit of automation. I mean, at least I'm able to order enriched alloys. I'm just waiting on capacitors right now. That's the only thing that's holding me back at the moment. So next episode we'll continue on. We're going to try to get galacticraft unlocked. Honestly, it has to have to do with Mekanism. It really does, because I was looking. I mean, we got the big reactors part of stuff done, unlocked and everything. I wouldn't mind. We might even, I've got to do some thinking, we might even get into big reactors next episode. I can't say for sure, but it's a possibility. So, I do want to get wind generators in place, but big reactors wouldn't be bad either. But looking at the, like this, it says requires one quest to be completed elsewhere for this one. So I think circuit wafers is probably the starting point. And the circuit fabricator just requires energy tablets, machine housings, electrosilicon, indium, and vibrant. I mean, all this stuff we can easily get. Because this stuff is really just a process of, the silicon boule and all that stuff. It's just a bunch of just roundabout, minute, unimportant resources. So I don't know. I'm gonna keep playing around. I'm assuming it has something to do with mechanism. I'm betting. I think Epsilon links into iota. I just don't know where. I thought that was the galacticraft solar panel for a second there, but it's not. I don't know. We'll see. Like I said, I'm gonna continue on with mechanism next episode, and possibly get into big reactors. We'll see. So that's the plan at the moment. I'm gonna go ahead and put in my clipboard a couple things here. I'm gonna say unlock galacticraft. I mean, technically we could start it right now. It's just I'd rather get the quest. You know, I don't want to double up on things like that. But galacticraft is something I really want to get into soon because there's so much. Draconic evolution is behind galacticraft. Our really advancing in mechanism is behind galacticraft. Also, Project E is behind galacticraft. I mean, galacticraft's like the big thing that's standing in our way for forward progression, right? Also, I want to put down, well, there's something else. Oh, big reactors. We're going to put that down. Now, I want you guys' opinion, really quick. I know I've had some comments regarding Applied Energistics 2, and, you know, originally my plan was we're going to go straight logistics pipes, and we have a really good logistics network right now. But before we move forward, we have the Applied Energistics quest line unlocked now. We could start moving into that. My question for you guys is, would you rather I continue just with logistics pipes? I will say that if we continue just with logistics pipes, we will still get into Applied Energistics because there is some things that I want to use Applied Energistics for. Also, I'd like to do little sub-networks using Applied Energistics and things like the solar panel crafting and stuff like that that logistics really can't handle. But I'm also running into a lot of situations like I'm having to come back here like today with all those octatics because I ordered so many octatic capacitors. You know, I'm having to come here and deal with things like this. Like if I pull out this gold, you can see now it crafts. Okay. With Applied Energistics, that probably wouldn't be as much of an issue. So moving forward, do you think that, in you guys' opinion, and I want everybody, you know, if you feel like commenting, comment, give me your input. Do you think that we should switch over and go pure Applied Energistics? It will take a little while to change over the whole base and all the crafting and all that stuff. I mean, granted, I could remove all those crafters and stuff doing that, and realistically, it could cut down on a little bit of FPS issues as well because items moving around. Personally, I love the way logistics pipes work and they look and stuff like that. But at the same time, Applied Energistics, there are certain things I can't seem to do with logistics pipes just because it's too much. Basically, like, I mean, technically I could set up the crafter so that the backlog wouldn't happen. There would still be items bouncing around. I could always do bigger buffer chests, something like that to really push it forward. But it's still going to struggle with big orders like things like solar panels and stuff that take thousands of items. Honestly, once we get into Applied Energistics, I could craft solar panels no problem right now. So, do you guys think that we should continue with the logistics network and keep building upon that? Or should we start moving towards a change into Applied Energistics? So depending on what you guys want to see, we might even start Applied Energistics next episode if that's something that you guys want to make that change towards. It's going to be a lot of infrastructure change, so it will take a few episodes probably to get that in place. But if we're going to do it, this would be the time to do it, I think. Especially since we just unlocked the quest, it's even better, you know. So anyways, just let me know what you guys think. I know, judging by comments and, you know, in the past few episodes, we have people on both sides of the fence, people that really like logistics pipes, people that really like Applied Energistics. But do you guys think that we should make that change to that? So I want you guys' opinion. I don't want to make that judgment call on my own. So do let me know. But anyways, next episode we will either be getting into, we might even be doing a mixture of mechanism stuff, maybe some big reactors, maybe some applied energistics, and who knows, we might even unlock galacticraft and start getting into that. Who knows? So there's a lot of things coming up. Project E is coming up. It seems like a lot of really big things, I think, because I think we're right on the verge of getting into galacticraft. So I think the pack's really about to, if you recall, there was that big push right after we got into like Terra Steel. It was just like all kinds of things opened up, and crops and things like that. Well, now it seems like we're about to reach another big push that's really going to push us into like more of like the futuristic age. Right now we're kind of like a little bit techie, but now I think we're about to go into the futuristic age. I also want to get into quantum flux pretty soon as well. And at some point I want to go back and clean up some of this Magneticraft stuff. I'll probably just go through and do the quests. I don't know how much we'll actually end up using. We might end up using a little bit of it on camera for the build. I don't know. We'll see. But honestly, I could sit down and probably knock out this quest tab between this episode and next. It's all really, really cheap stuff, I think. Like things like this. And like the blubber tub. Like this stuff used to be, I guess, a little bit more costly, but now it's like nothing. So I don't know. But anyways, do let me know on that. What you guys think about applied energistics versus logistics pipes. Anyways, I'm going to quit rambling. I know this episode was a bit more like just kind of getting the groundwork for Mekanism started, but we did get a good push in on it and some other stuff done in the process. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, as always, be sure and hit that like button and go ahead and subscribe if you're not already for more daily videos. And I do hope to see you guys next time. So until then, as always, do take care, stay safe, and I will see you then.